Hey everybody, I'm Kyle with Dirt Bike Channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to go over a little bit more about this GET ECU unit, how the Wi-Fi works, and a little bit of overview of how this is installed. I'm just going to kind of walk you through it, how the map switch up here works, how we run the wiring for that, and just give you a basic overview of maybe how the app works and how you can use your wake-up dongle to kind of play around with this and get used to it for tuning your bike. Stick around. Okay, so if you haven't watched my video, it's probably maybe one or two videos before this of why I installed the GET ECU unit. You should probably go check that out because there's a reason why I did this. I didn't just jump to a $900 part on a whim. I did a lot of due diligence, tried a lot of different things. And I wanted to bring you in a little bit tighter, show you how this looks, how this works. I know there's other videos out there, but I haven't done one on this. So I wanted to show you, kind of bring you in, give you an overview of what this entails so that you can be more comfortable if this is something that you want to do. Okay, so this is the GET ECU unit right here. This is the stock ECU, and it basically just fits down on this platform, and it's held down by these little rubber nipples is kind of what they are. So you just push these little rubber nipples out of these holes, the four of them, which is super easy to do. You just get yourself a screwdriver and you can kind of push those out. And then there's this one connector here. There's a little tab right there. You can push that in, and then as you rotate this connector around, like this, rotating it around, you can see this. I've got this thing hooked down. Then this connector will come off. And so you want to take that connector off, and then your stock ECU will just pop right out. What you do with this is you're just basically hooking this down with a wire tie. One wire tie is probably all you need. I did a second wire tie up here. You just go down around the wiring harness to hook that down, and it just sort of hooks this in the middle. This has to be directly in the middle of right here. Otherwise your seat, I don't know if this probably won't focus, but your seat, it's going to ride right here in between these things on your seat. And if it's not perfectly in the middle, your seat won't install. You can't get your seat down. So about the worst thing about this is it's a little bit, now your seat fits more snugly because it fits right around this thing, right on your zip ties here. Anyway, so it's super easy to install. There's two different connectors. There's a main connector, and you can see this. I've just kind of got these things wire tied. There's a main connector, and then there's an auxiliary connector. So this auxiliary connector actually goes all the way up to the handlebar switch, okay? And then the connector that says main is going off of this Wi-Fi box, right? That's really all there is. There's two connectors for this thing. So the auxiliary goes up to your handlebar switch, main, or this Wi-Fi comm here, I think that's what it is, yeah. On this side of it, on the Wi-Fi box, it says Wi-Fi comm, and on the GET ECU side, it says main. So Wi-Fi and main, those go together. And then I've just zip tied these things out of the way. This is just a cover in case you don't want to run the Wi-Fi. So you would just plug that into it comes like this little cover to the connector comes so that because you don't have to have the Wi-Fi box. The Wi-Fi box is for tuning, but you don't have to have that on your bike all the time if you don't want. I'm leaving it here because I want to be able to adjust the bike. That's the biggest reason why I want this, is I want to be able to play with this out on the trail and tune it. So that's how I've got this. I've just kind of, zip tied wires so that everything's kind of out of the way. And this is all it takes to install it. Then I just took my tank off and took my wire all the way up and went to the handlebar switch. I'll roll in a shot of that. Before I get too carried away, you're going to ask how I have this Wi-Fi box attached. Basically, the Wi-Fi box can really be attached either right here on the top of the battery or down here in the bottom of the air box, but it's so dirty down there, I didn't want to use that. So I just used some of this 3M dual lock tape, and basically it's just Velcroed right here. So how are we going to tune this thing? I'm going to show you. So you need your wake-up dongle right here.
I should take a moment to clarify. You only need the wake-up dongle if you want to be able to tune this without the bike running. So if you start the bike, then you can do all this tuning right here on the phone app because it kicks everything on. But if you want to tune it without the bike running, this is when you need the wake-up dongle.
And then I'm just going to pull the cover off of this wire harness just like that. And then we're going to plug this wake-up dongle in here, and this will turn on the bike, and you might be able to hear the fuel pump go in just a second. Watch. Did you hear that? So now that's waking up the whole system for the bike, turning on the fuel pump, and now these lights are going to come on. Here's the red light, and then in just a second the yellowish green light is going to come on, and that's going to turn on the Wi-Fi signal for this setup. So the first time you want to do this, you'll come into your Wi-Fi on your smartphone, and you'll wait for the Wi-Fi comm to come up. It'll tell you the numbers and it'll tell you the password. Okay, there it is. So it's Wi-Fi comm 7122. That's for this particular thing. Now, because I've already set the password in here, it's just going to connect to this. So it'll just take a second, and now it's connected. So I've connected to the Wi-Fi. Now I'm going to go to the GET app, which is right here. It's a free app that you can download, and it's going to connect right now. So this is the latest version of the app as of July of 2019. And now we're connected. We are connected to the bike, we're connected to the ECU, and we've got a few different modules that we can go through. There's service, there's tuning, there's profiles, and there's ECU. The main thing that I had to do in service is I had to come in here and actually set the throttle position. So you've got some diagnose things you can do. This is the throttle position sensor. I came in here and actually set this down to 0. So right now it's showing 0. I'm going to roll the throttle back. Now check this out. So now we're all the way up to 38%, now 73%. Now I've got it wide open and it's showing throttle at 98%. I'm gonna let this down and it goes back to 0. So you can tell that is working, and I had to reset this down to 0 because it thought it was 3%. So I just came down here, set the throttle to 0, and then set it. So now it's calibrated. So now I'm gonna go back on this, and I'm gonna go back to the home screen and show you just one other thing here. Here is under the tuning app. Now this is really cool. I haven't yet done this, but I'm going to do this on my next ride. So we've got the injection. This is where we can change the actual map. We can change the actual fuel air mixture on the bike. So on this column here, you have the throttle position different measurements. So 0%, 20% open, 40% open, 70%, and 100% open. And then along the top here, you have RPM. So 2,000, 5,000, 7,500, 10,000, and on up. So you've got these grids, okay? So if I want to just change the actual enriching this mixture here all the way across the bottom on these throttle positions, I just select them and then I say plus. And now it's telling me we're going to go 1% richer, 2% richer. And look at this. I can adjust all of these up to about 30%. So I can go 30% richer, or conversely, I can come down and I can go leaner. So I'm just going to bring this down. You can go 30% richer. You can go 10% leaner. So if I wanted to go down to 10% leaner across all these things, I could. I'm going to set these things back up to 0, but you can see how awesome this is. So I can unselect these things if I want. Maybe I just want to go a little bit richer on, up to about 40% throttle. So I would say, hey, let's go 10% richer. And then in order for me to set that and push that down to the ECU through the Wi-Fi, I just hit the little set thing down here on the phone app, and then that tells the ECU we're going to go richer, and we're on map 1. We're going to go richer at these throttle settings, these RPMs. So amazing. This is so cool, guys. This is like tuning like you cannot believe. We've never had the ability to do this before. And I know some of you guys will say, well, Yamaha has this on their bike. This is the same setup as what Yamaha did on their YZ450. It's the same technology. It's made by the same people. So this is the same thing. Now, why did KTM not give this to us? Well, my thought there is because they didn't want to open up to the customer service issues and the possible warranty issues. They didn't want to give us stock the ability to have all this power. Now, in the software here, they've got it so that you notice they locked it down so you can't go more than 10% leaner. You shouldn't be able to screw your bike up like that. If you come over here to the ignition, it's a similar deal. You can adjust the ignition forward and back. Now, I don't know enough about whether, that I want to change this, but look at this. I can adjust my ignition forward 1 degree, or I can go back, and it's going by half degree increments. So if I want to adjust my ignition timing back at these different throttle positions and these different RPMs, I can do that. So adjusting my timing, ignition timing. This is so cool, guys. I don't know how, I'm just so excited about this. I probably won't. And then gear cut, I don't know anything about this yet, what this does. So anyway, hopefully I'm going to learn more about this app and more about tuning this bike. So yeah, was this thing expensive? Yes, it was. But it's so cool with how you can tune it. Now, I've got the Wi-Fi dongle on here. You can adjust all of this stuff without the Wi-Fi, without the wake-up dongle. All you have to do is have the bike running. So if the bike is running, then you can connect to it here with your phone. And that's how that works. So out on the trail, I'm gonna start playing around with some of this stuff. I'll turn on the bike, connect to the Wi-Fi, and then I'm going to start making some of these changes. And this is on map 1. I can change the same thing over here on map 2, you know, so you can have different things on your maps. And like maybe I mentioned before, map 1 on this bike up on the handlebar switch is full on crazy power. Map 2, we decided to set that down to where it's about 75–80% of the hit. You know, so I've already got a switch up here on my handlebars where I can adjust that. And then in the app, there's a bunch of things I can do to, you know, to continue to fine tune that. Pretty dang cool. So I haven't learned everything about there is to know about the app. I just know a couple of little things from playing with it, but I'm pretty stoked on this thing because I find that this is giving me more tunability than I've ever had. This is more tunability than I've had on a carburetor by far. I'm super excited about this thing, and I'm going to learn a ton more about it as I start playing with it even more and more, but that just gives you a little bit of an idea of everything that's going on with this, and I will continue to update you guys as I learn more. Well, that's it for today, guys. I will have much more on this bike and tuning this GET ECU unit as I get more time on it. Just wanted to bring that to you. If you like these videos, if they're adding value to your life, please use the links down in the description. You can also go over to Patreon. This is how I'm supporting my family now, guys. So your support is needed now more than ever. Every once in a while we do dirt bike sweepstakes where we give bikes like this or other bikes away. So stay tuned for those. And yes, I still plan to continue to push this bike to 100 hours and beyond without changing the oil pump. And then we'll see what happens to the top end on this thing. Again, just so you can remember, you don't have to have this Wi-Fi dongle to be able to tune this thing. You can do this out on the trail. The bike just has to be running. So it makes it super easy. I'll unplug that to shut off the bike. It makes it super easy to do tuning and play around with the app here in your shop or in your garage just by plugging this in rather than having to have the bike running the entire time. So anyway, thanks so much, guys. And until next time, we'll see you in the next video.